Well, big game. I didn't think it was the prettiest game. I really impressed with our defense in general. We had a couple guys that slacked for a while and bounced back. To win a game like that without Nick playing was, he might as well have been with Arns, who played a little bit, and Josh. I mean, he just didn't even get a chance to get into that game. And thought some impressive stats were points in the paint. We still had 36 to their 20. Points up, turnovers 14-3, and the big one, fast break points 29-9. And I didn't think we ran as good. I thought we got tired. Cassius got hurt there in the first half when he down and banged his knee, and had a little lapse there in the second half defensively for a while. And give him credit, he sucked it up and tried to do a better job of getting him some rest. And I don't know, we got him a few minutes, but still not very smooth offensively. I don't think you're going to be with Nick out of there, but come back and out-rebound them. I thought the first half Kenny Goins was our star. Xavier had some nice blocks. Thought we were tentative to shoot the ball, and we shot it terribly from three. And I thought a lot of times our guards were passing them up, and our centers were taking them. And so we got to get that straightened out a little bit, but not shooting it as well, and not getting Nick even into the game. I think that's a heck of a win, because I think Maryland is a very good basketball team. I thought we did a heck of a job on Collins, decent job on Jalen Smith. A couple of those guards started hitting some threes late, but in general, that's a very good basketball team that I'm sure Mark doesn't feel they played great. I didn't feel we played great, but we found a way to win, and that's what you got to do at this time of year. A lot of teams getting upset. Our defense saved us.
Tom, Henry, how did he prepare himself for this moment and look as ready as he did tonight?
Well, especially in the second half, he looked a lot more ready offensively and played a lot better defensively in the first half. He struggled a little bit. Gabe struggled a little bit defensively, but those are good players we're playing against too. And Aaron's a good athlete. As Gary Harris says, as he learns to play harder and harder, he's going to get better and better. And I thought it's coming. And Gabe, it's coming. Foster, it's coming. We're just going to keep working with those guys, because we're going to go play a team next that they're going to get it up and down. They scored 95 the other night, so our defense is going to have to be good, but we're going to have to get our running game going. And to do that, you got to change bodies a little bit, and we're just short some bodies right now.
Coach, you had 5 players in double figures tonight. With Ward out, you had some different lineups. And can you speak about your versatility?
Yeah, I thought that was impressive. We got something out of Xavier, even though he struggled from the 3. Something out of McQuaid, even though he struggled from the 3. I thought Kenny was the most solid of our group, Aaron, and Cash missed a couple good shots, but he don't miss many. And I thought that driving layup he had was impressive, and he did it after his defensive performance. So we had a lot of guys that did something, but we're not shooting the ball with within rhythm at all. It seems like early, I'm really disappointed. And Matt passed up some shots, and I knew Kyle would. I mean, Kyle only practiced a day, and hopefully a day and a half, and hopefully, we'll have to figure out now how we handle these 2 days. That's going to be hard for him and for Cassius, but yeah, I think, we got a lot out of a lot of guys.
Tom, you spoke of Cassius and holding Cowan down to 7 points. Cassius guarded him most of the time. This defensive element to his game, is this something that's been developing? Is this, I guess, is it new, or has he always been this way?
No. He hasn't always been this way. I think it is developing, There's a lot of things that are developing. His body change is developing. He's learning how to do a lot of things, but he's put in the work, and I give him a lot of credit, because it's easy for me to jump on him about his defense. He's got to in this game, he had to guard their best player. He had to run our team and get very little rest. So I know, what he's going through, but I did challenge him at about the 10-minute mark, and I was really impressed. It takes a lot to impress me, that I thought he bared down then, and we were a little slow on those, chasing over those pin down picks, and did a lot better job. And I thought that one call on him, that's frustrating for a coach, because you're trying to get a guy to play harder, and then I thought he did a hell of a job on that.
Tom, I want to ask you about the Cassius hug at the end of the game. It's one thing to hug, but that was extremely emotional. Is it just to see the maturation in him and how far he's come?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people give me crap about, how you handle Cassius, and you're too hard on Cassius, and I'm not too hard on Cassius. He's got a lot to give, and every week right now this year, I've seen him get better and better and better, and I'm gonna keep pushing. He's gonna keep working, and I just, when I see a guy that I know was tired, that I know was a little hurt, do a couple of things. We said we gotta push the ball more. He had 3 great defensive stands, 2 good pushes. Damn right he deserves a hug. Maybe a kiss next time, I don't know, but it was good.
Touch some of the things on your bigs, but obviously Nick didn't have his A game tonight with the foul trouble, I guess. How did he respond to that? And secondly, the minutes that Kithier gave you at the end of that first half seemed to kind of give you guys a little bit of a...
Yeah, I didn't even bring him up, what he did, he ran the court, and I mean, Nick was frustrated, but he handled it well. I mean, again, the maturity of him is I was frustrated. I was more frustrated than he was. And I thought he did a hell of a job, but he didn't even get in the game. He didn't even get, did he take a shot, 2 or 3? Yeah, the first one early in the game, but did get 5 rebounds in that short period of time. So that was good. And I had 4 turnovers. I didn't think he'd had that, but that was one of the areas too we cleaned up, the turnovers, and that made a difference. But we got to do a better job with Nick, and he can't get in that foul trouble. A couple of strange ones, but he wasn't in that game at all. You're right. Didn't Miles not able to play it the way it went.
Tom, you say you talked to Miles pretty frequently. What was it like seeing him kiss the Spartan head? And what was he like, the days leading up to today?
And that's the tradition that we want to, I think we've got Gary back, and we want to make sure the guys that leave early, because that is one thing Denzel and Draymond said was as emotional as anything they did. And so it was pretty cool. Miles came back. I said, hey, you want a chance to kiss the Spartan head? And hell yeah, I do. So pretty neat. He played at Indy, drove up, and his team let him go. He flies down to play Jaron tomorrow. And man, that means more to me than half the game. So I just love when those guys come back, and it was great seeing Miles. Got to spend some time with him this afternoon, and he was awesome.
Coach, 20 consecutive Big Ten regular season wins. What does that mean to you? Indiana hasn't done that since the team Indiana in the 50s.
I didn't know that. It's one of the things I don't really keep track of. The only thing I keep track of is I like every team that leaves here to have something that they can put their footprint on in this place. And, no matter what it is, it's nice. Somebody wins a national championship. Somebody might win 4 Big Ten championships. Somebody else might do something. Again, to win 20 games in this league in a row, I guess is a hell of a feat. But I don't think they give a trophy for it. I don't think we can hang a banner. So it doesn't mean as much other than those players will be in the record books. And hopefully when they bring their kids back or their grandkids, they can, if it lasts that long, look what Dad did. Look what Gramps did. Look what somebody did.
Tom, I know you're not big on comparing to last year's team, but what elements have you discovered about this team that you weren't sure necessarily that you had going into this season?
Yeah, I think we're a little better defensively than I thought we'd be. But Nick and we don't have Jaron here, but Nick and X have picked up the shot blocking. I think we're leading the league in block shots. That's pretty impressive. And I think our break has become more lethal. Yet I don't know, even though we had 29 points in the break, I didn't think we just need a couple more bodies to be able to play man-to-man like we do and run. You need bodies, and so I think that's dropped down a little bit, but I still think that's been pretty high in general, and we still rebounded the ball pretty well. So the area that I thought we'd be a lot better at was three-point shooting. We've struggled in that recently, and I think part of it is, you know, you got to get X and Kenny to beat Jaron in that respect, and you know, with Josh and Arnie out, they're two of our better three-point shooters.
Time for a couple more.
I noticed that Josh is still in the boot. Have you got any sort of sense of?
Yeah, you know, he's in the boot now, but he had the boot off for like 3/4 of a day. He actually shot some yesterday, and that was encouraging. But timetable, it's I mean, not going to be Thursday. But now that the boot has been taken off periodically, now that he can work out a little bit, I think, you know, we're starting to see a little progress here, which would be music to my ears.
Going back to showing some emotion in the game tonight, after Kenny made that bounce pass inside to Tillman in the paint, I believe you had a nice little fist pump there, but how encouraging is it to see that maybe Kenny now is realizing his role and what his responsibility is?
Well, as I said, I thought Kenny was our best player early. You know, I really did. He just did some great things, and he kept a lot of balls loose. He made a couple shots. His defense is phenomenal. I can play him on bigs. I can play him on guards. And his passing has improved, you know. Nick's passing has improved. Xavier's passing has improved. So if there's an area that I think we've improved in, it would be that. But I'd love to see guys that didn't put in the time all the time, and then the light bulb goes on. And when the light bulb goes on and you see Cassius defending, or Kenny making some plays that he hasn't, or, you know, Nick not getting frustrated. I mean, you see the growth. That's, for a coach, for a parent, that's an awesome thing.
Brendan, last one.
Tom, was that lull, sorry to interrupt about this, there was that lull in the middle of the first half where you guys weren't getting out and scoring on the break, and there was a lot of threes and stuff like that. Just how difficult is it to do that for 40 minutes the way that you want it?
Well, it wouldn't be difficult if, you know, I had the full set of guys, especially on the perimeter, but it is difficult right now. I got to figure out what to do with Cash, how we're going to hold it up. And I think we're so lethal on that break. I don't want to hold it up, but Cash and McQuaid are, you know, are wearing down a little bit on it. So we'll look at that now. If we can get Arnie back and he can start playing, that helps. One more body, I mean, that's 20 minutes we can divide up. And we keep getting Gabe a little better, if we keep getting Foster a little better, we can get maybe 8-9 minutes out of those guys, it would make a big difference for Cash and Cueto. So those two guys, McQuaid's got to guard everybody and their uncle. You know, we went from having him the best player. Today we had him as the help guy. He's going to end up maybe the best defensive player in this league if you look at all the things he does. And so we did have a lull. I think we went from 4 of 7 from the 3 to 0 of 8 the rest of the half. And I'll tell you a little funny story. I told Xavier, I said, you know, try to be kind about it, but when you don't hit the rim on that one, I say, you think that was a good shot? He goes, well, I work on it. I said, yeah, you know, I work on being taller. It just doesn't happen sometimes, you know. And so, you know, we're going to continue to work on it, because he did work on it. He's worked his butt off on it, and Kenny's worked hard on it. But those are some shots we're getting. Nick is drawing a lot of attention. We're going to just step in a little bit. They don't always have to be threes, and, you know, we got to coach it a little better, and we'll try to do that. But if I thought defensively we'd be as good as we've been, I mean, we can lock people down right now. And if we start shooting the ball better, then we go, you know, we take another step up. We got a lot of work to do. This is going to be a brutal weekend with the Thursday, Sunday, and both on the road. One of the longer trips in Iowa, but at the same time, what an exciting time for us. You know, this is a different Iowa team, which we'll talk about maybe tomorrow or the next day, than the one we beat here in November. A lot different. I think they've won 9 out of 10. But the league's still awfully tough, everybody's getting knocked off. And what I'm proudest of this team, I look at Florida State, I look at some of the teams recently that have been knocked off Kansas, some really good teams. We haven't fallen to that yet, you know, we're kind of mad that 11-point lead grew to 22 and then it went back to 11. It's kind of a neat thing to be mad about when you think about it, because we still played a very quality team, and Mark's done a great job. He's got some young guys too, but we did a decent job on the 2 veterans, and that was the difference in the game, so appreciate it. Thanks.